Hi, welcome back to Nico Knows Tech. I'm of course Nico. This is a follow-up to the Tron video that I uploaded about 2 months ago. You guys have been great. You've been asking great questions. You've been asking questions that I really couldn't answer in the 4 paragraphs. I've tried to answer every single one of them. I've spent hours on the phone with some of you guys. You guys have encouraged me to keep this going. So for that reason, I'm gonna step right into this video as a follow-up of the remove all viruses video, but it's also going to be more fixes, like what if Tron didn't work for me, what if something else still doesn't work, and a bunch of other fixes, and basically how to continue to protect yourself. And you just you need 3 things. First, you need to set a good set of nunchucks, and maybe a tomahawk, or follow my tips. And here we go.
Okay, here we go. So the main questions that I was getting was you would start up Tron and it would freeze on you, or it would lock up on you, or why is it taking forever, it's stuck on some position. First off, to some of those, Tron can run anywhere from 1 to 8 hours, sometimes longer, depending on the speed of the system, especially if you're on a hard disk drive and not one of the newer solid state drives. And if the Windows operating system is really overloaded on, its RAM is maxed out because of background applications, that can also cause it to run slower, but just let it ride. Now if it hangs, 4 hours go by and it's still checking for smart disks or something, nothing's happening, well then that might be something for concern. So what I like to show you, if you right click on your task manager or your taskbar and open up task manager, make sure everybody can see it, you'll see startup over here, and you've probably seen this on a dozen other sites, but anything that I don't need running at the startup, meaning if I'm not running Steam immediately, I'm not playing a Steam game, I don't have to have the Steam taskbar thing running in the background. It's not needed. It'll open up if I double click on Steam. Same thing with Office, Word, Adobe, especially Adobe Updater. Adobe Updater is a common one that I see. Disable it, because you don't need to get updates when you're not using Adobe Acrobat, because as soon as you open Adobe Acrobat, it's going to let you know that you need a new version, or a new version is available. Would you like to download it? Well, it gives you that choice instead of this automatic downloader thing that's going to annoy you and say there's a new update for Adobe, and it won't go away until you click on it and click update. Meanwhile, it's using your bandwidth, your CPU power, your memory. So here's some important things. In here you'll see this is my USB sound card, so that's a device. If it's not a device or a driver, meaning if it doesn't say something like Intel or Windows security notification, I leave that enabled. Umon64, you're going away because I don't know what you are, and you're also not even a valid publisher, so I don't even know who you are, but I'll find out who you are. We'll use this as an opportunity to show you how I look for viruses. So you'll just right click, disable or enable, or you can search online. So let's go ahead and search online on what Umon64 is. Umon64 process belongs to changelog MFC, Microsoft hardware compatibility, put Genesis logic, whatever that means. that's one thing. Now next advanced lesson, most common thing to do if Tron isn't working right and it didn't get everything because it didn't run, is to reboot into safe mode. Now, and you can run Tron script as administrator from safe mode. Now, to enter safe mode in Windows 10 is a lot different from every other one where you hit F8. It was so easy. Now you click the power button, and on restart you hold down left shift the entire time. Click restart. Keep holding left shift until the options menu comes up. The options menu is going to be a blue screen, and it's going to have a bunch of options, but just go straight to troubleshooting, then advanced options, and then startup options. Startup options is going to give you an option to reboot. That's it. And when you reboot, you're going to have a black screen, kind of like MS-DOS. And just click 4. Just press 4 and then enter. 4 means safe mode. And then you're going to be loading up a version of Windows which has no drivers or any non-Microsoft services running. So that will allow you to run Tron script, and it won't have access to the internet, so it won't get the most updates. You'll have to do an offline version of the repairs, but it'll get you started to the point where you can boot into normal mode, and then after that's done, reboot into regular mode with internet, run Tron script again, should be fixed. But one of you guys asked me, what about system corruption? Because sometimes the system is still corrupted. There's a couple ways we can do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to Google this. That way, I'll put it in the description too. But if you just Google DISM right here on Microsoft's website, there's the DISM command. This is the wrong one. Let's go here. Okay, so this command here, DISM.exe / online cleanup image Restorehealth. Okay, I'll put it in the description. The way you'll run this is from the command prompt or the PowerShell. The way you get to command prompt, the way you get to shell, right click and then PowerShell admin. Right click on the, not left click on the start menu, and then PowerShell admin, and it'll work from there. I recommend running a different command prompt for something different that's coming up, but you can use PowerShell, so let's do that. Actually, let's use my fancy one, okay, because I use my own little modified version of it. And so we're going to run the DISM command. Now this is, like I said in the video, this is the full online, it's a hardcore version of what Tron does. Tron does a basic version of this, but it doesn't actually do the online where this is comparing Windows, your Windows with Windows Update. And so if anything's wrong with your Windows installation, especially components, that's actually the functions of Windows, things like settings, start menu, all of those things are components in the component store. It's gonna automatically check online, and it's going to pair your image to what Microsoft has, and if anything's wrong, it's going to replace it through Windows Update automatically. And that's what the DISM tool in Tron script does, except it checks for component store corruption. If it doesn't detect any, then it does a cleanup, which usually solves most problems, but this is the most hardcore one. This one takes about 2 minutes on a 16 core 16 gig machine that was so graciously given to me by Asus. This is the Zephyrus G14. It's like a mini gaming computer that kicks Intel's butt. Sorry, Intel. But yeah, once that's done running, another command you can run from command prompt. Okay, completed. So the restore operation completed successfully. The operation completed successfully. It's not going to tell me if it was damaged or not. Now if I wanted to know if it was damaged or not, I would run a different command to see if I've been flagged for component store corruption. I don't need something to tell me that I'm corrupted and then scan for corruption and then fix it. Why not just go straight to the fix? So this command right here, DISM.exe /online, and it's all case sensitive, but I'll put this in the description. And also you can Google, it's on right on Microsoft there. Okay, the next command you'll run, I would recommend running this from command prompt. So just click in the search bar, or Windows +R, and write cmd.exe. And if you notice here, it says this task will be created with administrative privileges. So it's going to be an elevated command prompt, which is what you need. If you're running this from a non-user account, a non-administrator account, that might be a different issue. But if you're an administrator, then no problem. So let's run the command prompt. So this is what you'll see. I'm gonna run my fancy wing. Okay. This is the command. sfc /scan now, all one word. So it's 2 N's there. And when you hit that, this is the system file scanner. So all that system32, the DLLs, the things that everyone's always curious about. What's that DLL running? Okay, or why is some kind of component of Windows, keep on giving me errors? This is the system file scanner, and it's checking your system files for corruption. If any of them are corrupted, it's going to try to fix them automatically. If it cannot fix it, it's going to leave a log file, and it's going to tell you where to find it. And it's going to tell you where you could find that missing DLL. And it'll be from Microsoft. There'll be like a link to Microsoft.com where you could download that DLL, copy and paste it into the Windows C:, like the C drive, then Windows /. drive DVD. Okay, and then we're not going to use recommended settings for this PC because that means it's going to make it only work on our PC, which makes it a waste of a drive. Why can't you just give me the one that I would get if I bought Windows 10 off the shelf? Why are you giving me the limited version that only works on my exact architecture, my exact type of processor and RAM, blah blah blah? So no. Okay, you do choose your then choose well, 64-bit, because unless you have 4 gigs of RAMs or less, if you have an old computer like 2006 or before and you have 4 gigs of RAM or less, like you're running Windows XP and you might have upgraded to 7, maybe you're on a 32-bit system, but most people will go 64-bit. Then hit next, and I've already created an ISO file because I like to be able to burn this thing over and over and over again. And it takes me about 5 minutes to make a new Windows disk using Rufus or Etcher. Rufus, R-U-F-U-S, is a free program for, it's actually really freaking cool. Just Google search Rufus, and it's right there. It's the first result. Okay, so this is the way. Let me open up Rufus. Let me show you this thing. This thing is so cool because even if you don't even have anything to burn, it's got stuff that you can make already built into it. So let's choose an ISO. We have SysLinux 406, we have React OS, we have Grub, we have free DOS. You ever wanted to make a machine that has just DOS on it? So we know that we have free DOS, which means we can make a little tiny box like out of a Raspberry Pi or an old machine that's a DOS machine. You can do your old DOS stuff. Or you could dual boot and have a little bit of a DOS machine with maybe like 5 gigs and then the rest is Windows, but you know that you have DOS. And then but what you do is you would select the ISO. I have Windows. I made the ISO earlier, so I could do that right now. And installation option, it would be standard Windows option. Partition scheme, it's gonna automatically, choose. It's not gonna choose MBR for Windows 10, but some things will be MBR. Computers have 2 types of boot methods. There's UEFI, sorry. No, GPT. Sorry, GPT or MBR. Older machines will use MBR. New machines will use GPT. So nothing wrong, but you could, if your machine is not like 8 years old, go GPT. If it doesn't work, come back here and do it in MBR. BIOS or IAF, leave that alone. And then the label is what you're going to call it. ESD.ESO is the national label for Windows install. So it's best to leave that alone, because if you had an IT friend come over and he plugged that in there, it'd be like, oh, you have a Windows setup disk. So the cool thing about this is now that you have your flash drive, you've already made, let's assume that you made your flash drive with that. And you plugged it in. Now I'm going to mount this as if I just plugged in a USB drive. So now drive D is going to be your USB drive, and it'll look just like this. So on my PC, you're going to see it'll say USB drive, but it'll look just like this. Now if you, sometimes the registry and DISM and SFC, there's no fix for a totally messed up registry. If your registry here is all messed up, this is basically like, malware could be telling you that no matter what you do, your computer is remote control. or no matter what you do, your mouse is not going to work, because they've deleted all of the basic mouse things that come with Windows. So maybe your right click will never work again. I'm just giving you examples, but they could they could destroy all of this so bad that the machine doesn't function. And despite what Windows 10 or Microsoft says, they don't back up your registry. So I recommend that once you get your clean install, let's assume right after Tron, type restore, create a restore point, okay, and make it on one of your system drive, and configure. Okay, mine's turned on already. I have it set to 1%. I'm using 2 gigs. Okay, and then create. And then you could name it, you know, after Tron, you know, because you already have one of these set, because Tron set one for you before Tron ran, just in case anything went right. Now you have an after Tron, so now you can always go back to the way it was right after Tron succeeded. Well, you should set these up. But as far as registry, Command R or Windows R, reg edit or reg edit, depending who you talk to. Alright, click on computer, file, export. Now find a good place that is on a flash drive, because how are you going to get to this backup if your machine doesn't boot? So I'll just back it up in documents, you know, just because. Registry backup. Now let's assume that I went in here and I just selected all, and I changed all the values and completely destroyed your machine. You'd be able to go into that file folder where that registry file is, which is in documents and backup. If I double click this, it's gonna reset the registry back to the where it was right when I did that backup. Complete fix. Okay, so another thing you can do validating if it's good or not. GPX is my my encryption software, which I use to encrypt stuff across the internet. Like when I order a death hit on one of you guys for writing a bad comment, I'll hire a hacker team on Darknet, find you, and you'll disappear, and then your comments will be all friendly. I'm just kidding. No, that's part of PGP, so it's not verified, but it's not a virus. CZIP is not verified because they don't want to pay Windows. They're made in like Poplov, so maybe Russia or Poland. They're not verified by Windows because they don't want to pay for it. So just because they're not validated. A lot of bad virus scanners such as Avast will detect any unverified programs and they'll consider them pups or potentially unwanted programs. So we scroll down here. I do uncheck some things here, like the power agent. I'll leave that back on. But there's this thing that keeps on, ASUS keeps on changing my power settings. I disabled Adobe Acrobat Updater from here. The old version's there, but let's just see if for validity. This can actually, this will tell me every single file that's running. Some of these are settings that are disabled. For example, I don't run a Windows server out of here, so OneDrive is not found because I uninstalled OneDrive, so I'll go ahead and delete the entry. Are you sure? Yeah, let me check. Yep. And see, all this is blue here, which means nothing has been detected as a virus. But this list will show me everything, and you don't even have to know what any of this is. Okay, WoW 64, WoW CPU, it's not found and it's not a problem, and you can leave it alone. That's for reverse compatibility with like Windows 7 and 32 applications, so just leave it alone. More WoW 64, cannot find the file. It cannot find the file yet, but if it needs to, it'll create it so the entry's there. Leave it alone. Okay, and then this guy, and if I click on this here, if I click on that little red thing, it's going to show me exactly where it's at. Load behavior. Anyway, if I click on the virus total, it'll open up my browser, and Viper says that it's a virus, but everyone else says that it's completely fine, including ESET Nod 2. Okay, so back to the solution. That's viruses. If you're not sure if you have a virus, if you ran Tron script and you're still not sure, run auto runs and you'll be able to tell for sure. Because this is how, if I was going to someone's house, which I do a lot, and they say I'm infected, I'm not going to sit there and run a 60-minute scanner. I'm going to run auto runs and be like, yep, you're infected. And a scanner will automate a lot of the job for me, and it'll also clean up and quarantine for me. But I can be like, right there, and I can also turn it off so that it's not going to be bugging me, kind of like Arkill. But that's, okay. So, your Windows is so corrupted, Tron script didn't work, nothing. reset, you would have Candy Crush again, so you would need to run my debloater. Last tool. We'll get into this. You know what? I was thinking of saving this for you know what? We're gonna save this for the privacy video. But I just wanted to thank you guys. You guys, your comments are so gracious, with the exception of 2 assholes who are tried to say that this is a virus trying to take your data and all of that. They're just jealous. They don't want the channel to improve, even though we only have, you know, like 181 subscribers, which I'm very grateful for. We're over 6,000 views since last night on just the Tron video, so I mean, we're gonna leapfrog off that. But I got a bombshell to release on privacy of Windows, which I touched on during some of those things. But I'm gonna teach you how to lock down your machine to where you're untraceable. Do you want to see how untraceable? You know, you could think of VPNs and Tor and all of that, but guess what? If you're on Tor and you have Chrome open, let's see if we got any. Boom! Google Chrome was communicating through the ClearNet, so you might have just had, you know, your Tron, you had your VPN, and you had your Tor browser open, and you're buying your drugs off of Darknet, you bad fools, but you had Chrome open or other applications. Well, guess what? They're communicating. And also, these sites, they'll communicate back and forth. This is a query that was sent to my device. It's not to your IP. So your IP, your encryption, all of that stuff, your DNS, doesn't matter anything, because they're not sending it to your IP. They are sending it to your device, and your device is broadcasting through the ClearNet. It's saying, here I am, and by the way, send me ads, or let's exchange information. 3-way handshake, SSL, blah blah blah. Let's not get into that. I have a Pi-hole, which is a little Raspberry Pi, which basically says any type of query or advertisement that tries to come into my network goes into this little sinkhole with a blacklist and a filter and everything, so I don't have to deal with that stuff, and I don't have ads on my network. And I'll teach you how to do that too. Anyway, guys, subscribe, comment, keep it up, guys. You guys are motivating me. We're building this room into a studio. We're gonna clean the couch Tuesday. We're gonna treat the walls. We got huge cameras and stuff. Let me show you. That. I mean, this is gonna change. We're going through a transformation, but oops, sorry. We're gonna get it going for you guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe, share, like. The likes, if you all hit like 1 2 3 now, it helps the algorithm. It puts me more in the relevant pages, and it helps the channel out, and not on a monetary basis, because if I had 100,000 subscribers, I think that would be like $100 a month. I'm a disabled veteran, so that's not my income. I'm doing this for you guys, but if I get that amount of subscribers, I'm gonna get that kind of influence to where more people can see what I wanna share, and I wanna devastate those tech channels out there that just want to sell you glass wire and VPN services and tell you that everything's great. And by the way, here's our sponsor. No, not me. I'm here for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will likely see you tomorrow. Thanks.